CDC said it was going to do its own test in that bureaucratic swirl. The FDA prevented private and academic development of tests for weeks. Well, we look to get therapeutics and vaccines through the system in a quicker method.
Certainly the FDA, I can promise you, will do that.
We had top White House health officials virtually testifying before a Senate committee about the pandemic yesterday. We just saw one of the members of that committee, Republican Indiana Senator Mike Braun. He appeared, as you can see right there, from the Senate. But we understand we're having a problem. Oh, there he is right there. I was just tap dancing for a moment, Senator. We have restored the signal to the Russell Rotunda, and there you are. Senator, yesterday we heard from Dr. Fauci. He said one of his worries was parts of the country reopened too early. There could be spikes. There could be more death. We knew that, didn't we?
We did, and I think what makes it confusing, because from the time this came on the scene until now, the healthcare experts, I think, have been duly the ones we needed to pay attention to. I never would have done a one-size-fits-all out of the gate, because Indiana's different from New Jersey and New York. But we're at that crossroads to where we got to do two things at once. So I was sitting between Senator Paul and Tim Scott. Both made great points. I wanted to point out that testing has dominated the discussion. It was PPE, then ventilators, then the number of ICU beds, all solved. And now that it has gotten down to testing, we lost about 40 days out of the gate when the CDC mostly wanted to do its own test. And that's the bureaucracy the president's run into. That's what we've been dealing with. So that makes it difficult to really know what to pay attention to.
Sure. Senator, you say the Democrats do not want to reopen the country. Why?
Well, I think they have leaned on this in a way that has made it highly politicized. I think they mostly represent places that, did have the brunt of dealing with the coronavirus, New York, New Jersey. But that doesn't mean that you should, from here forward, discount completely what might happen to the economy if we don't do a smarter process going forward. And I've, even before we left here, said that we need to be focused on this point in time with a smart restart. And if we don't, you're going to have bankruptcies and all kinds of issues that cascade, because it's more complicated than a one-size-fits-all.
Yeah. In the House, Nancy Pelosi and company have come up with an 1,800-page bill that would be essentially a $3 trillion rescue package that does all sorts of things, including $1 trillion to state and local governments, which is what they had wanted all along. $3 trillion is more than double what they had suggested before that they were going to ask for. Isn't this just the opening bid? We need $1.5 trillion, so we'll ask for $3 trillion. That's how it works in your town.
No doubt about it. It's all part of the kind of dysfunction that's here. When I came, hundreds of billions used to be the big denomination. Now it's trillions. We have structural trillion-dollar deficits. We added $3 trillion and 3.5. Now asking for this is completely out of line, and yes, it's just a bargaining ploy. We are concerned about businesses opening up, being exposed to trial lawyers and frivolous lawsuits. That'll be the bargaining chip. Many of us that are true fiscal conservatives here are going to have trouble paying any price for something that we should do anyway, protecting businesses that are trying to get this economy going. So it's part of the song and dance here. Sadly, I'm on the budget committee, and that underlies that whole process as well. We haven't done a budget that we've adhered to in 20 years, so this doesn't surprise me that we're doing this now amidst a crisis.
Just to be clear, Senator, this bill is dead on arrival in the Senate, right?
It is, yeah. It's out there. This is the same thing they tried to do on Sunday before we left with all the extraneous stuff to get their kind of wish list out there. That's not going to go anywhere, and it's really irresponsible to do it.
All right. All right. Senator, thank you very much for joining us in person today from the Russell Rotunda.
You bet.